Actually, I lied. I am going to show you and give you a few examples, but I just want to cover something quickly, okay? Because as you guys can see, this is why I said it will take 5 to 10 years. But for many of you watching this video, you will never achieve this. And the reason why you'll never achieve this is because of yourself. Okay, many of you watching this have certain bad financial habits, mindsets, and limiting beliefs. And I'm going to actually quickly visually demonstrate to you what that looks like, just as it came to mind, before I then show you the investments that will generate you the 4%. Okay, so many of you watching this video, the biggest challenge you're going to face isn't even getting the 3 million. And it isn't even the 4%, okay? There are many things, so many things you can invest in. Even just as an example, the S&P 500, which returns 7 to 10%, okay? Most people in their lifetime make way more money than 3 million, okay? So these are not, for many of you watching, going to be the biggest hindrances, okay? For many of you watching, I reckon the biggest hindrance to this is lifestyle inflation. And the best way to think about this is you are psychologically taxing yourself because of your ego. I'm going to write that out again just so it's a bit clearer. Because of your ego and your desires, okay? And I'm going to break down what that looks like. Okay, so let's say, just as a random example, you're making anywhere from 25 to 50,000 pounds a year at your job or from your business. And you decide, oh yeah, with this money that I'm making now, instead of just buying normal clothes, I'm gonna go and spend £2,000 on a Gucci top. And you know what you do? You do this, okay? Okay, and let's say now you've had a really good year, you've worked really hard, you've put some money aside, and your boss at the end of the year goes and says, okay, I'm gonna give you a bonus of 5k or 10k. What do you decide to go and do now? You say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go and get finance and decide to buy a BMW M Sport, okay? And that does this. I wish I could make this eraser a bit thicker, okay? And then, you know, the next year you sit down and even though you've just taken out a car on finance, you've bought your designer Gucci jumper, you say, oh, you know what? I've not been on a holiday in a while. Let me go to Dubai and stay in a 7-star hotel and spend thousands of pounds for a week or two of just nice experiences. And you do this. And now next month, you're scrolling on Instagram and you see your favorite influencer with a Rolex on his wrist. And you think, man, I could really use with a Rolex. And you notice, you know, there's some entry level Rolexes, 10k, 15k, 20k. With the money that I'm making, if I save, maybe even take out a loan or go on finance, I can get that Rolex too and be just like him or compete with him. And so now you go and you do this. Okay, I didn't mean to damage the pipe a bit there, although, to be honest, with this kind of mindset, yeah, like the pipe is non-existent, but you do this. And then before you know it, this number that you need to be financially independent and actually live a life of freedom, where you're able to buy nice things, you know, with the money that you're making passively, disappears. All because you couldn't keep your ego and your desires in check, okay? Because let's be honest, when you're going to buy that Gucci t-shirt for $2,000 or pounds or whatever, okay, what's wrong with a normal t-shirt? When you were going to go and buy that BMW M Sport, what is wrong with a normal car? When you're going to go and buy that Rolex, what's wrong with a normal watch? And family, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing these things, okay? I enjoy these things. I do buy these things, but I make sure that my main priority is this plan. And I make sure with the money that I'm using to buy these things, it is not taking away from the vision, which is ultimately retirement or financial independence. Because let's be honest, the only reason why you buy these items is to impress people who really don't even care about you anyways. That's why you like the Gucci, because of the status. That's why you like the BMW, because of the status. That's why you like the Rolex, because of the status, the attention, and the attraction that brings, which some might say is a form of insecurity. You know, I'm not here to psycho analyze and do all that stuff. That's kind of for my personal one-to-one sessions. But at the end of the day, it's just not smart. You're the one that's losing out ultimately when you choose to do these things prematurely. Okay, and there's a rule that I live by, and it's simply this: if you can't buy something without being concerned about the price, then you can't afford it. Simple as. I'm going to say that one more time. If you can't buy something without being concerned about the price, then you can't afford it. The quicker that you can build this system, the quicker that you can then use the money that you're making passively at 4% to go and do these nice things anyways, knowing that you have 3 million or 2 million or whatever it is in the bank stored up safely there for you. Okay, this is what wealthy people do. People who aren't wealthy, normally, if I'm just being honest, middle class and lower class people, they're the ones who would go and buy these things and try and flex and have status. But people who are wealthy and can afford these things, if they buy them, they're buying them after having this system in their life. And again, even those who are ultra wealthy, they really don't have an interest for a lot of these things. And so that's a whole other conversation for another time. But anyways, just as a final closing point on this, build this first, buy your nice stuff afterwards. Okay, now finally, stuff that you can invest in that produces a 4% return. And so, put simply, not going to waste your time. First one is stocks. I literally mentioned the S&P 500. There are many other safe, consistent, reliable stocks that generate much higher returns than this 4%. S&P 500 again is an example that I already gave, but you can go and do your research and find out. I'm not going to spoon feed you here, but with stocks, 4% is easily achievable. In fact, it's laughable even. Okay, the other one is real estate. Okay, if you know what you're doing with real estate, you can definitely get a 4% return a year. Granted, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a bit of a different asset class, but you can definitely get 4% on your money in real estate. It's possible. I've seen many people do it, and I've even done it. And then the other one, just as an example, is high interest banks. So there are banks and there are firms who offer very high interest rates for you to just keep your money with them. Again, because a lot of ultra wealthy do this, it's a very common thing that banks will do. Specifically, banks for high net worth individuals will have some sort of scheme that allows you to receive much higher returns than 4% normally on your investments. And so that is an option. And then finally, I'm going to just put as a bonus the government. Okay, and please, I know I bashed pensions. This is not actually pensions, but this is stuff like bonds, treasury gilts, I think they're called in the UK. When you actually choose to invest in government-backed stuff, it is normally very safe, and again, it still allows you to have that control of your money. I know, don't bash me, I know I spoke a lot against letting the government have your money, but it's different because when you have a pension, they control the money, they use your money. When you choose to invest in government-backed things, you control your money, and you can, of course, pull it out, sell, move it around as and when you please. And so, again, just as a bonus option, and quite ironic because I don't trust the government. I don't trust most governments because most governments really are not there to help you. But investing in your government normally is seen as quite a safe thing to do in the form of bonds, guilds, whatever they're called. Because of course they are the people who run your nation and run your country, and normally they have a vested interest in keeping their things safe. And so through investing in that way, I would say it's safe, but through buying into their schemes that they offer, like pensions and things like that, personally for me, I just wouldn't do it. And again, I want to clarify, okay, this video is not for everyone. Some of you may sit there and have your pension and you put in your pension for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That is okay. I'm simply just presenting an alternative that I believe to be much better and that I've seen many ultra high and high net worth individuals use, and I think works for everyone if they are consistent and disciplined and can put in 5 to 10 years worth of work, savings, and focus. But the key to this 4% is just low risk, long-term assets. Okay, so any sort of low risk, long-term asset that is going to give you that return. Okay, it can be things outside of this as well. I think that is all for today. Like I mentioned, I do work with people personally and privately. Yes, I teach them. This is something that I would normally teach in a private or one-to-one session, but I also help with the psychological side behind actually achieving these things, breaking limiting beliefs, tailor making a plan based on your life that will allow you to actually see this with your current financial situation. But you guys don't have to do any of that. What I provided in this video is enough for most of you watching at home to do this and actually reap the result. And so if you are interested, of course, there is a link in the description. No pressure. I also have a WhatsApp group chat, so if you have any direct questions about this process, or if at any point in this process you are stuck, I do answer questions and I don't charge for that. It's a free group chat, so you can join and yeah, share any comments, thoughts, opinions, or get help with this. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Bit of a longer winded video today, but I really wanted to give you guys something valuable that I know can help transform and change your life. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.